everyone for staying with us. So we're getting more reactions on the story that we're staying on the program tonight. So the Nigerian police have reacted to the rearrest of Senator Dino Melaye. They have confirmed in a press statement released by the Force Public Relations Officer, ACP Jimo Moshood, and they say that the police investigation team have rearrested Senator Dino Melaye today, 2nd May 2018, after his arraignment at Chief Magistrate Court Wuse for the pending offenses of criminal conspiracy and unlawful possession of prohibited firearms already filed in a court of competent jurisdiction in Lokoja, for which he will be arraigned without further delay. News just coming in from the Nigerian police have confirmed that Senator Dino Melaye has been rearrested by their investigation team and it will be arraigned without further delay in Lokoja. So we move straight to yet another story that we're following for you about the election. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says the commission is determined to make the 2019 election the best election ever conducted in the country. Professor Mahmoud, who was one of the speakers at the 69th General Assembly of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, he said that 4 million PVCs registered will be ready this week. The electoral umpire boss touched on PVC collection, voter turnout, and their preparations, and the role of the media in free, fair, and credible electoral process.
In 2017, 3.9 million fresh Nigerians registered, and then additional 300,000 applied for transfer of their registration or replacement of lost, damaged, or defaced permanent voter cards. We had to do the cleaning up processes to unprint the PVCs and to make them available for collection. We have promised this country that this will be ready. The cards will be ready for collection in the first week of May, beginning from the end of this week. All the 4 million cards for those registered in 2017 will be delivered to each state of the Federation and will be made available for collection by citizens.
So if you are wondering, I registered last year, I've registered this year, when is my PVC going to be ready? Just so you've heard it direct from the man there, the professor and the man in charge of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Let's get some perspective on this one. We hope to have Biodun Ajijola on the program to give perspective on some of the data regarding your PVCs, the collection rate, and what 2019 holds for Nigeria. So Mr. Liborous Oshoma, a lawyer and political analyst, has been talking to us on several of these issues. What do you make of this? If you had 67 registered voters in 2015, and we have additional 4 million up until we speak right now, so we'll be having about 72 or 73 million registered voters. But remember that not up to half of that number came out to vote in 2015. Do you see a difference in 2019?
I don't. If you look at all the elections we've ever had, there's always a sharp difference. You have a number of registered voters, a sharp drop in the total number of registered voters and the total number of actual voters. And you find a situation where you have on the register 100,000 registered voters, total number of actual voters 20,000. In some cases, where you hear a massive turnout, the highest we've ever gotten to is not up to 40% of the total number of actual voters you have on the register. And so, a lot of people have also attributed this to voters' apathy. But I want to see it differently. We still have this problem with a bloated, what do you call it, population figures. We still cannot ascertain for
voting
sure.
population,
yes,
or the usual,
both
the actual population of
the
country.
actual population and the voting population.
We're not up to 200 million as
I don't think so.
All right, let's get some figures, Mr. Oshoma. One man that understands so much about Nigeria election data is Biodun Ajijola. He's the national coordinator of Election Monitor. Thank you, Mr. Ajijola, for your time on the program. From what the information that Professor Yakubu gave today at the Bonn General Assembly, what is your take? He said those PVCs will be ready this week. Good news for Nigerians, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's very good news. Good evening. Thank you for having me on your program. Yeah, I think it's great news because, you know, the CVR commenced last year in April, and many people that have registered, in excess of about 7 million people since it commenced on the 27th of April last year, have been anticipating when they will collect their cards for those who have already registered. And I think for the fact that the cards will be distributed or will be available for collection commencing this month, I think that is a welcome development for many people that are interested in picking up their PVCs.
Well, I mean, PVCs being ready, that's on one hand. Collection is another thing entirely. I remember that this was a very major issue because the PVCs were printed, brought into the country, but people were not coming out to collect the PVCs. You remember the situation before the 2015 election. It was a major issue. Do you see this happening again? The 4 million new registrants, do you see them coming out to collect their PVCs? Mr. Ajijola, if you're there, I'm talking about the incident of a non-collection of permanent voter card that we saw before 2015 election. A lot of millions of Nigerians did not go to collect their PVCs. The actual registration on one hand, the actual collection of PVC, that's the exact figure that we need to run with. With these new 4 million voters, what do you envisage that may happen in the coming weeks as regarding collections?
To have a good collection, because remember that in 2015 the PVCs were available very close to the election, just a few months to the election. But as you see, the election is February next year, and we're in May. Still has almost about 10 months to the election, and the PVCs are coming out as early as this, at least for those who have, you know, done their registration since last year in April. So I think the time is sufficient for the PVCs to be made available for people, and there is enough time. And, you know, if we look at the 2015 data, you'll find out that the PVC collection rate as of a week to the general elections on the 21st of March was quite impressive. I mean, in the Northwest, we had 90% collection. In the Southeast, we had 86% collection. In the North Central, we had 78% collection. While in the South, we had 83.69% collection. In the Northeast, we had 86.98. And this was just when we had just a few months to the election for the actual collection. But here we have several months, almost a year. So I think that it's going to be much more improved, and we will have a much greater number of PVCs collected before 2019. I expect as much.
We hope to drag you into the studio to break down some of these figures, and we will stay on that for you, especially those of you having problem registering. Before we go, in 20 seconds, Mr. Oshoma, what do you see about this 2019 election? Do you see an improved INEC?
I expect to see an improved INEC. There are a lot of expectations. You hear the new slogan now, go collect your PVCs, go collect your PVCs. But it actually does not start and end with collection of PVCs. People want to ensure that their vote actually counts. And INEC also is proposing a new innovation, because usually the point of rigging is between voting and collation center. And INEC is saying that from the voting center, they are going to transmit results electronically to the collation center. And so there won't be manipulation. And so once that is done, we'll see an improvement.
Liborous Oshoma, lawyer, political analyst, regular analyst on Channels Television. Many thanks for your time. Jola, also many thanks for talking to us from Akure. Also, whatever you may be watching, many thanks for being part of the show. That is where we draw the curtains today on the program. I'm sure Akimale. Bye-bye.